This video introduces vectors and gives some examples of when to use a vector. So we have a program on the right in which the user guesses a hidden number. And the hidden number is randomly generated between 1 and 100. Let's take a look at how the program runs. Guess a number. I'll guess 50. The hidden number was actually 5. I'll try again. And the hidden number this time was 81. Okay, so this program simply prompts the user to guess a number, checks whether the guessed number was the hidden number. If it was, tells you you're right, otherwise it tells you you're wrong. And finally, the program outputs what the hidden number was. What we'd like to do is modify this to give the user 5 guesses. So they have 5 chances to guess the hidden number, not just one as we have now. So one way we could go about doing this is adding in another guess variable. We'll say guess 2, and we can copy, paste, and create a guess number 2. Compile that, execute. I'll guess 50 and then 40, and I got one wrong because we are only checking once, and we're only checking to see if the first guess is right or wrong. So we should also copy and paste and check if the second guess is right or wrong. Compile and execute. So we have 50 was wrong, and guess of 40 was wrong, and the hidden number was 99. So if we were to keep this trend going, we would just keep on copy and pasting the same bits of code and making minor modifications. And that's one way to do this. The other observation is that all of these guesses are the same data type. And because they're the same data type, that's a possible good reason to use a vector. So let's use a vector instead. So we say vector, and we're going to name the vector user guess, and we'll make the vector size 5. Okay, let's compile and see if we've correctly declared a vector. We have vector was not declared in this scope, and that's because I have not yet included vector. Alright, how about now when we compile? We have an error, the missing template argument before user guess. On line 13, before user guess, it's saying we forgot the template argument. Right. We'll make a vector of ints because all the guesses are ints. Okay, how are we doing now? Okay, compiles, and how about during runtime? I'll guess 50, then 40, and both were wrong, and hidden number was 15. Okay, now we can start converting over. Instead of having multiple variables, we will use the single array. So I'm going to delete those variables from the declaration, and I'm going to go about very carefully replacing. First, I'm going to replace user guess 1. And instead of user guess 1, I'm going to use our vector user guess at the location of index 0, which is the first element in the array. And then I'm going to copy that code, and I'm going to do the same for this user guess 1. Alright, now let's compile. And I have an error, line 23, because we have user guess 2 still in use, but I had deleted the declaration of user guess 2. Okay, let's use the array user guess, and we're going to access the second location, which is at the index of 1. Okay, I'm copying, and I'm going to replace user guess 2 with the second location of the vector user guess at index 1. Okay, let's compile and execute. I'll guess 50 and then 40, and both are wrong. The hidden number was 23, but the program functionality is working. This is great. Now that we've gotten a method for us to use one variable to hold all of our guesses, now we observe that the code for each guess is virtually identical, with the only thing changing is the index. 0, 1, and then if we were to go up to 5 guesses, we would have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as the indexes. So what we can do is use a for loop. So for I is for index, equal to 1, and then I is less than or equal to 5. So we're going to go from our guess 1 to guess 5. And we'll increment that index. And instead of putting in a integer literal as the location, we'll use the variable I. But in particular, we'll use I minus 1 because the first location is actually at index of 0. So if I starts at 1, but we need the value to be 0, then we need to subtract by 1. Okay, so I'll delete that additional code because it's now redundant. Here we have 5 guesses being stored into the vector user guess. Okay, let's give this a compile. And on line 19 it tells us that I is not declared. That's right, I have forgotten to declare I. I will do so. We'll compile and then execute. So my first guess will be 50, I'll guess 40, 30, 20, and then 10. And here we have my first guess was wrong, my second guess was wrong, and the hidden number was 76. So now we can do a similar for loop for assessing whether each of the elements in the vector was a correct guess or not. So I'm going to copy the for loop and put that around one of the branch conditions, the branch tree, indent the branch tree to show that it's inside the for loop, and then I'm going to change the index to be like the other for loop, I minus 1. Now we don't need that copy and pasted branch tree, so we get rid of that. Now we have one branch that is being looped through with the for loop, each element in the vector user guess, and checking whether that guess was right or wrong. So let's compile and then execute. I'll guess 50, 40, 30, 20, and then 10. And all 5 were wrong. The hidden number was 91. So by using vectors, first we identified that instead of having multiple guesses and each guess being an integer, an int of its own, we can make a vector of ints, which holds all the guesses. The second is that we can use a for loop to iterate over the entire vector in order to save code. So in just a few extra lines of code, which is really just adding in these for loops, we were able to turn the program from only one guess into 5 guesses. And of course we could increase this easily to be 50 guesses if we wanted to do so. We just increase the size of the vector to be 50 and loop 50 times in both of the loops. Thank you.